Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main eventers. The two men headlining the biggest card of the year on the biggest platform in the world, live from the 305 this Friday night and live around the world on Netflix. They will be fighting 8 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first to the ring, fighting out of the red corner Friday night, he will enter the ring with a professional record of 28 victories versus 4 defeats, with 25 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from London, England, introducing the Olympic gold medalist, introducing the 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, he is AJ Anthony Joshua.
And here comes AJ, one of the most accomplished fighters of the modern era, the Olympic gold medal, the 2 unified heavyweight titles, one of the biggest stars of this generation, one of the biggest attractions of this generation. A man, Christina, as we've described, has really been part of the nucleus of the sport of boxing throughout his career. Where he has gone, the wave of boxing seems to have gone.
He did it the right way, right? He came up in his amateur pedigree he has, becoming an Olympian, becoming a world champion, fighting the best fighters. The name's on his resume. Win, lose, or draw, he was always in the mix. You know what? Never would I have ever picked him to fight Jake Paul in his career. As we get a look at the chains, it's also been a battle of the chains since the very first promo and the very first. So that's very nice right there. That's very pretty. As if you remember Jake Paul saying at the press conference, AJ wanted him to bet that one that had all the bullets
that's right.
in it, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, AJ's catched some of the biggest fight purses in recent memory.
Yes,
I feel he could compete in the chain game.
And his portfolio, even outside of boxing, right, is massive. So it's not just the paper that he's made, you know, inside the squared circle. It's what he's been able to do outside of it as well. But that's why he is the global superstar that he is.
Well, one of the major storylines coming into this fight is the fact that Joshua, we referenced that fight, those 2 fights against Alexander Usyk, the heavyweight champion, earlier. They've linked up. So basically going to the man who I think maybe psychologically or technically bested him in a way that he respected more than anyone, went to Usyk to try and enhance his game.
How does the saying go? If you can't beat him, join him.
But what humility to be able to do that, right?
But you know what? I didn't expect anything less from the type of person and individual that he is. You know what I mean? And from Usyk and his team as well, to say, okay, let us help you. He's not training AJ the way they train Usyk. They're 2 totally different style fighters. But he felt that they had the wealth of knowledge, the experience, and seeing this and studying AJ the way they did to defeat him the way they did. That's an asset to AJ because they've done their homework and know where he's weak, where he's strong, and I think that gives them an advantage when you're starting with a new team.
Yeah, Joshua really feels like this is the best possible opportunity for him. He really views this as kind of his stay busy, stepping stone type of fight before he moves along. In talking to his promoter, Eddie Hearn, they said they wanted to schedule an 8-rounder anyway. That might have been a couple of months ago in Riyadh. And instead, they can have an 8-rounder and make an immense amount of money on the global platform. Why not do it? They saw no downside to accepting this fight.
And I can't disagree.
I don't either.
No, I can't disagree. You're going to have the same amount of rounds that you were looking to have anyway. 8 rounds, which is what they wanted to come back with after 15 months out of the ring. Not a huge risk, as most of us traditionalists would say. And you, more than quadrupled the pay? And then some? Why not? Why not?
Of course, that is what the traditionalists would say. But the big risk is if Anthony Joshua, of course, does not win. But he has been in a somewhat similar situation. A lot of people, there are people out there who feel like this is headed towards being like another AJ versus Francis Ngannou, right? Where he faces a less experienced fighter in an attraction type of fight, and obviously he scored a devastating knockout in that one. There's some who feel like we're headed towards a similar result.
Well, I think Jake is a much better boxer than Francis Ngannou. I think he prepared himself better. I think he has, more experience. I'm not saying fighter overall, but boxer to boxer, I think he has those skills. And, I just think for AJ, he's laser focused on what he has to do. He seems very calm. He seems very confident. He has kind of like hit the reset button on, after you suffer a devastating loss like he did against Dubois. I mean, he even said himself, I knew this time was going to come, that I had to hit the reset. I saw this back in 2018. So I think he's in a good place for a challenge like this. And I like that he's given props to Jake. I like that he's given props to his opponent. And he's not talking about, I'm going to come in here and knock him out in one round. He'll let Eddie do that. Eddie's the promoter, of course. But he seems, at the very least on the surface, to be taking Jake Paul very seriously.
No doubt. And he's made the point that Jake Paul has obviously been living and training as a professional fighter for many years now, and that's different from kind of an interloper coming into the sport. Jake Paul has made the sport his life. As we mentioned, the last time we saw Anthony Joshua, he was fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world against Daniel Dubois. He was knocked out in that fight. He was knocked down multiple times, a real firefight at Wembley Stadium. But again, just to further put into perspective where Joshua's at in his career, in case there's some people tuning in who think, oh, it's like this is a washed up version of Anthony Joshua. Again, a man one fight removed from fighting for the heavyweight title in a fight he was heavily favored in.
Yeah, and in heavyweight boxing, anything can happen, right? But you have to respect that. And what Daniel Dubois was able to do that night was special. I mean, yes, we have seen him struggle a little bit with fighters that are smaller than him, Alexander Usyk, even the first fight against Andy Ruiz. But he is still one of the best heavyweights of our era, likely a future Hall of Famer. And, do I think that he's taken a step back, or do I think that he's not? Like, I don't.
No, and we've seen Joshua and how he's bounced back from losses in the past. In fact, some of his best performances have come in the wake of them. The adjustments he had to make after the Ruiz fight. After the Usyk fight, he comes back and stays busy and runs off those wins over Franklin and Helenius and Otto Wallin.
Yeah.
He's always had the ability to have the humility and the introspection to figure out where those corrections can be made.
And I think that he deserves all the credit. And I think if you talk to Jake, Jake would want you to give AJ all the credit too, because he would say, well, when I beat him, I want you to still say he hasn't lost a step. I would want you to still say that he's still the kind of guy that's on track to have the big fights that they want to make in 2026. And you know what? He looks to be in tremendous shape, Corey. Like,
I don't know that he's ever not been in tremendous shape.
But if you think sometimes coming off 15 months off, if at any time you were going to catch somebody maybe not, physically at their peak, it's usually when they're most active, when they've stayed in camp, when they've stayed in the gym. That hasn't been the case in the last year and a half for AJ.
Yeah, the Under Armour compression wear can't compress the musculature of Anthony Joshua.
They're screaming. You might got to let them out, AJ. The table of women behind me would not mind that whatsoever.
Anthony Joshua wrapping things up. We see him get unlaced here. We saw him hitting the pads. Many people believe that jab in particular, one of the best jabbers in the heavyweight division, one of the more accurate jabbers, that will be the key to this fight. And the chain battle will continue.
We might got to get our girl Sibley some shades. if he's gonna put that chain back on. She might need to get some stunner shades or something to protect from all that. who's got some shades for my girl?
You don't know a nigga like myself. I say self-made, meaning I design myself. County jail fade, you can pull my file yourself. Spot rag, swallow rocks, I'm getting high myself. Damn right, I like the life I've built.
All right, AJ, now standing by with Sibley.
We are here in the ring, and you put the chain back on, okay? Everyone, Miami, make some noise. Anthony Joshua. Let's get down to business. First things first. Come up here. First things first. Walk me through that moment that you decided that this fight was going to happen. You wanted to be a part of this fight night here in Miami with Jake Paul.
Yeah, it was an honor to be invited to America to come and perform in front of some amazing people, the Miami crowd, the international crowd. So I just said it's got to be done. Jake Paul, he got some big balls. And I've got to give him respect for taking this fight because I'm fucking ready.
Like beyond ready. It's go time.
It's go time.
You know, it's been cool to watch you on social. I know you fought all over the world. You look very calm, cool, collected, and you're having fun. How is this experience with MVP putting on a fight like this, putting it through onto Netflix? How has it been for you to just kind of let loose? It looks like you're having a good time.
Yeah, listen, MVP, shout out to them, they've done an amazing job. But I'm going to let you all into a little secret. There is no one better than Matchroom Boxing.
You had to say that, didn't you?
I just tell the truth. I just speak my truth.
But you were seeing you're having fun at the MVP house.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Listen, it's going to be a major fight going down. You guys, obviously, the main event. Is there anything else you want to say to the fans? I've asked this to a few of the fighters tonight since they've been there for you day one, and to the new ones who are going to be tuned in on Friday.
Let me hear what they want to see. What do they want to see? I can't hear you. They want to see some big punches thrown and some knockouts, and we're going to deliver.
Wait, say it again. We couldn't hear everything.
They want to see some big heavy punches thrown, and they want to see someone knocked out, and I'm going to deliver.
You're handling the KO is what you're saying. Okay. Man, a few words. Say what you had to say. Miami, one more time. Make some noise. Anthony Joshua.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the final man of the MVP Showcase 2, headlining the bill this Friday night, live around the world from the Kaseya Center here in Miami, Florida, and live around the world on Netflix. He enters the ring Friday night with a near-perfect professional record of 12 victories versus just 1 defeat, with 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Dorado, Puerto Rico, by way of Cleveland, Ohio, USA, introducing the man who brought boxing to Netflix, the biggest promoter of women's boxing ever. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake El Gallo de Dorado Paul.
Comes the man who made it all happen, the man of the hour, Jake Paul, and not just the man who made it happen, but as we discussed off the top of the broadcast, Christina, the man who seemingly 3-4 years ago visualized this and then actually made it happen.
You know, there's so much to be said about manifestation and putting things into the atmosphere and having that self-belief, and you can't deny the fact that Jake Paul is not just a talk about it, but he's a be about it type person. He manifested this moment. He had Anthony Joshua on his hit list. Maybe it's happening a little sooner than he had anticipated, but for him, this is exactly the way that he thought his path was going to go. And, you know, we're just a few days away now.
Well, Jake has talked about the fact that that pressure isn't really hitting him right now. And in fact, he feels that the pressure is on Anthony Joshua, that he can go in there that he can fight free. And he said at the November press conference, if he starts getting touched up and losing rounds, I think AJ is going to crumble.
I mean, that's fair. If that's how he feels and that's where he's preparing, you know, he's obviously a showman. He's been training hard. He's had to make a huge switch from preparing to fight a lightweight to a heavyweight. That's not an easy transition to make in the middle of camp, especially as a novice fighter, when typically more of these guys that are coming up fighting, they know the weight class that they're going to stay at. That's a huge jump from what he's done. But the team has got him ready. He's supremely confident. And I think he says and believes that he sees holes in Anthony Joshua's game that he believes that he'll be able to expose on Friday night.
Well, you also look at some of the names and some of the assistants he's brought in camp, guys like Lawrence Okoli, some legit top-level heavyweights that he's been sparring with. In terms of a crash course that you could get in heavyweight boxing, you couldn't have asked for a better camp than the one he put together in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and Jared Anderson as well. And just, you know, you could tell that he had a black eye, nose was looking a little more crooked when he went on Pat McAfee's show and talked about that. But it's because, you know, Third and Jay Leon and the crew told him, don't take it easy on Jake. You're brought in here to do a job. We need you to prepare him to the best of your ability for what he's about to face. Yes, the glove size is different. Yes, headgear, etc. We know that. But at the same time, like, they really went in on him in sparring to prepare him for this moment, and he's supremely confident because of it.
Yeah, and again, we referenced it earlier, but kind of adding to the audacity of having that self-belief. Jake has described it as delusional self-confidence, right? Those are his words. You go from having to prepare for a shorter, smaller opponent to having to face a legit top heavyweight in the world. And if you look at the story of Jake Paul, it's a series of chapters of him doing things that at the time seemed unthinkable. Here he walks into the same type of situation on Friday.
Well, yeah, as you're looking at in the toolbox of some of the other previous opponents, you know, the knock has always been, oh, you're not fighting a legitimate fighter, or you're not, you know, yes, he did fight Tommy Fury. When you did, then you lost. You know what I mean? It's the fact that he's had a different path and different type of opposition. So now he's stepping up huge amounts in this fight against Anthony Joshua. And if nobody else believes he can do it, he doesn't care, because he's been facing doubters like that his entire life. As long as those men in there that are getting his gloves ready, wrapping his hands, believe, that's all he needs. Even his mom was worried, right? No, are you sure? Like,
That's right.
Her reaction to that was like,
That's right.
you know, I felt that as a mother. You never want your son to be in harm's way, and harm's way is exactly what he's in.
We're going to see Jake hit the pads here, and we'll get a look at what he feels is going to be a key advantage for him in this fight. He feels that he has a hand speed advantage. He feels that as the smaller man in this fight, that alone, in addition to his hand speed, could make things difficult on AJ.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a solid jab. He has the right hand that has caused him some viral knockouts. And I think he has a little bit more confidence because he knows if there's any type of opponent that Anthony Joshua has consistently struggled with, it's been the smaller type of opponents. It's been the Andy Ruiz. It's been the Alexander Usyk twice. It's been the guys that are not matching him size for size, pound for pound. And I think that, you know, Jake speaking on that gives him confidence.
Well, and we are getting a first live look at a heavyweight Jake Paul here tonight. And, you know, one thing, and even amongst the doubters of Jake Paul, even the hardcore folks in the boxing industry, the one thing that they will always concede is that this man has power. That has always been undeniable. And the question is, does he have enough power to keep Anthony Joshua off of him on Friday night?
I mean, that's the question, right? I guess that's what we're going to have to wait and see. But it's heavyweight boxing. If the timing can beat the power, if the speed can test the chin, AJ's chin is not invincible. We've seen that. We're not telling him to do something that nobody else hasn't done before. As you're going to look at some of the power on the pad there right here in front of us at the open workouts.
Now, you can certainly rip those left hooks, and that's something that, man, everyone in in boxing respects Buddy McGirt said, and he was talking to USA Today just last month. He said, hey, Jake can really punch. This is heavyweight boxing, and anything can happen.
Biggest upset ever.
You heard Jake just say it, biggest upset ever. And the fight odds are certainly long. Jake Paul, a plus 650 underdog, as he heads in for the biggest night of his life on Friday. Standing by with Sibley.
Miami, make some noise for Jake Paul! I'm going to get right to it. I just talked to Anthony Joshua. He said he is promising a KO for the fans that are watching. What is your response to that?
Yeah, one of us is going to sleep. That's what we're going to do here. That's what this heavyweight fight's all about. That's why we're here. All glory to God. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, for this moment. I'm just so grateful to all the fans, everybody. I started my boxing journey here in Miami, and we're bringing it back. I'm going to shock the world and pull off the biggest upset in sports history.
Yes, give it up! To know everything that you've built in the last 4 years, to know what the team has done, your team, inside and outside of that ring, it's coming to life on Friday, and you just continue to level up, and you do it from the heart. What does that mean to see it come to life this Friday?
Man, it's a testament to hard work and every single day dedicating yourself to a craft, pushing through when you don't want to be there, and it all pays off in the long run, and believing in yourself, setting goals that people think are impossible. That's really what my story is all about, and that I hope to inspire kids at home. I set these goals, everyone laughs at them, and then I'm the one laughing in the end.
Loving something, and then there's being passionate about something. It feels like you said, it doesn't matter what the naysayers have to say, but the people who see the work that goes into it, like your team, your corner. Have you learned something about yourself through this current process? I know it's hard to reflect on things, but so far at this point, who is Jake Paul?
Man, you know, I think at the end of the day, I'm a kid with a big heart that wants to change the world, disruptor, and I never took no for an answer, and I'm just chasing my dreams, having fun, and living the American dream, really.
I love it. Can I borrow one of those earrings?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, he said no. He said no. You didn't even tell him the mic. Anything else you want to say to your family and everyone out there watching? And make sure they tune in Friday, obviously, for the big one.
Believe, witness is about to go down.
There you go, Miami! Live, make some noise for Jake Paul!
So